Assalamu alaikum. Normally I do not read, but today I have to read because I'm not fully myself. Assalamu alaikum. Young children, young adults, Honorable Justice Mr. Ali Shah, Honorable Justice Fadil, Justice Kayani, the leadership of the Federal Judicial Academy, Hayat Ali Shah. Of course, it's great to see our critical partners in child rights and human rights. It's great to see Sister Rabia here as well. I have the honor and pleasure to join you today in this important event, Reimagine Justice for Children. This is a significant milestone since we signed a memorandum of understanding with the Federal Judicial Academy earlier this year in September. It also marks the start of a 6-year journey to the 2030 Agenda, the SDGs, where we hope every child in contact with the law will have access to justice in safety and under protection. Each year, at least thousands of children get involved in the justice system as victims, witnesses, or those in conflict with the law. Unfortunately, many of them face barriers, including poverty, discrimination, violence, sometimes just where they're born or who are they born to. Even when they are able to file a case, the current justice system lacks child-sensitive and gender-responsive services, exposing children to further risks and harms. Children are not small adults. They have unique needs, capacities, and vulnerabilities that must be recognized and protected within an expertise-based justice system. This is a fundamental child rights manifested in the Convention of the Rights of the Children and the Sustainable Development Goals. Yet in Pakistan and globally, children are often forced into adult justice systems that fail to address their emotional development needs. For instance, the Child Rights International Network ranks Pakistan among number 119 in terms of systems that respond to children's needs. Belgium, by the way, being the #1 country that does this. It's time to move beyond these practices and adapting adult justice systems for children and expecting them to be sufficient. Instead, we need to transform the justice system and procedures to treat children as children first, responding to their needs and focusing on their well-being, healing, agency, and recovery. You've heard from this young, amazing girl demanding fairness, care, and dignity. I think sometimes we forget dignity is at the heart of how we treat children. The Prophet ﷺ, when he spoke about children and their rights, he always put first dignity. If you look at, I find myself often coming back to this theme of Pakistan being Islamic Republic of Pakistan, a country that was envisioned, created on the basis of a faith, yet sometimes that faith is not manifested in the conduct of our people, of our justice system, and in everything we do. There's a big gap, and that's why I'm reminded dignity being the heart of this. And even though the United Nations speaks about international standards and norms, you have in your name of a country and the faith that you have some of the best norms, if not the best norm humanity has seen. Yet that does not always manifest itself in our conduct and in our systems. So therefore, reimagining justice for children begins with recognizing children's presence and agency in reforms. It also requires building a legal system specifically designed to address their unique needs. You saw in that video a young girl who's met, and I hope this video, by the way, is translated as soon as possible, that young child, the first meeting she has in contact with the law, a police officer who's trained a police system that is able to respond to the need is critical before even the judicial system comes in. So there are a few recommendations I would like to make. First, every child knows and claims their rights. And this is a great beginning, especially vulnerable and marginalized groups, children who come from better off parts of the society have better access, but we need to focus on the most marginalized, the most deprived, the disabled, disability, gender, and refugee children. We should not forget refugee children because Pakistan has been kind and generous to host millions of refugees over the decades, but I think we also need to make sure that refugee children are part and parcel of this discussion. Second, every child can access free legal aid, representation, and services, particularly in underserved communities. This requires stronger policies mandating legal representation for children in all cases, allocating more resources for service provision. And we will be reaching out also to the parliament of this country to also make sure that when legislations and rules happen, also they are funded, because without them, the process will not be able to conclude in a positive outcome. Third, every child in conflict with the law can be diverted, paradigm shift that urgently needs from solely punishing child offenders to adopting restorative justice which repairs harm and reintegrates them into children and society. Number four, every child is protected from detention. We must prioritize non-custodial measures and community-based approaches for children in conflict with the law, making detention a last resort, not a first resort, a last resort. For children who end up being detained, it's crucial to provide support upon release to help them reintegrate into society and reduce the risk of reoffending. And we in UNICEF are willing and able to support with all the institutions of the country. Before COVID, many countries were reluctant to release children from detention for those in conflict with the law. However, during the pandemic, we saw over 11,600 children were released using alternative measures in at least 37 countries. So when there is a will, there is a way, and at times of disaster and global fear, we can respond. So why not use the same mechanisms in regular times? Number five, every child survivor of sexual violence, abuse, or exploitation must receive justice. Survivors of sexual violence, abuse, and exploitation, particularly children, must have access to age-appropriate and gender-sensitive redressal mechanisms to seek justice and healing. However, over the past years, multidisciplinary approach and training for law enforcement's legal and medical legal professionals have contributed to an increase in the conviction rate from 4% to 11%. 11%. We should not be proud of 11%, but that's still a dismal rate. Last but not least, every child can access alternative dispute resolution mechanisms and child-friendly courts. Specialized courts designed to meet children's needs will make the legal process more accessible and less intimidating, ensuring children can navigate the process in a protected and supported manner. And we are committed to making sure that at least the first model of such a court is established here in Islamabad with the support of leadership of the Federal Judicial Academy, but also the leadership of Justice Masur Ali Shah, who has been a pioneer in addressing this issue. As we gather today to discuss justice for children, we must keep the best interests of children at the forefront of any reform. We need justice systems that are flexible, supportive, and inclusive of children's voices. Systems that emphasize prevention, empowerment, and community-driven solutions. Achieving a child-centered justice system requires collaboration across government, civil society, development partners. Together, we can come up with an innovative solution. Pakistan has proven again and again and again, especially in the judicial system, in the legal frameworks, that it can be creative and innovative. And with your leadership, we are counting on this to continue. Rooted in the lived experience of children, where they are not just beneficiaries, but active agents in the process of reimagining justice. I will conclude by saying, let's remember those 6 amazing words you said: fairness, care, dignity, respect, and to be valued. Thank you very much.